Okay, so here we go. This is going to be my first attempt at recording a video. Just never done it before. I feel like it might be time to try and put something up on the blog that I never use. So I'm going to try and cover some of the fountain pens that I've been getting into recently. There's 3 of them. 2 I just got in they arrived last week. The other one I've had for a couple of months now, I guess. It's quite cheap, but you want to start cheap when you want to try to get into these things and see how they go. So let's see how this thing works out. Okay, this is the first one I ever got. It's called the Pilot Preppy. I forget exactly what I paid. I got 2 of them off of eBay. I think I had them purchased and delivered for around $16, so they're obviously quite cheap. You could consider them disposable, but they're not completely disposable because they do take a cartridge, a proprietary cartridge, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if I said Pilot Preppy before. It's Platinum Preppy. So that's what a modern cheap fountain pen looks like, for those of you who have never seen such. This is supposed to be a fine. It's called an 03. The nib, it's got the P for Preppy on there in the 03, and what looks like a breather hole, but it's actually just a filled-in divot. It's kind of unusual. It's all plastic, it's cheap, it's light, it's easy to go. People can turn this into an eyedropper by filling this with ink and making sure there's a little gasket or whatever up here so it won't leak. It's not bad. Maybe it's a property of the ink. I've found it to be nowhere near fine, depending on the paper you use it on. In the Moleskines I tried to use it on, it was produced quite a thick line, much thicker than I was happy with, and it feathered quite badly as well in places. So it was a good starter pen. I'm happy I got it, and it's gotten me interested in using fountain pens, but not something I expect I'll be using long term, certainly not in most of my work, my better notebooks, because my experience tells me it's just not going to produce the kind of lines that I like. Now, the 2 that arrived actually, before we go on, this is the refill cartridge for the Preppy. It's got a little ball bearing in the end, which is interesting. It makes it seal good, and once you push it into the pen, that pops in and the ink flows down into the nib through the feed. So, of the 2 that turned up last week, the cheap one is the Kaweco Sport Classic. This is a so-called demonstrator model. One with a clear body, typically referred to as a demonstrator. Very hard to see. It's got Kaweco. I'm getting used to this camera. Alright, Kaweco there. The Kaweco Sport label. It's a very small pen, it's a very light pen. It's a twist top, so it's not going to leak, which is good. I think dropping it has actually just gotten me a few tiny little drops of ink on the end of the nib. It's shiny and looks like gold, but is in no way gold, I imagine. It's obviously quite a short pen. I have small hands, so that's not bad. It's designed to be posted, gives it a little bit more weight and sits better in the hand. It's quite nice. Obviously the nib looks a lot more like a classic. This one cost me about $20. It's also a cartridge refill. It can also be turned into a eyedropper if you so desired. You can see this is blue. It's the blue ink that came with it. It's not bad. I mean, I really don't have much experience at this point with fountain pens, so I guess I can't really say. My first impressions when I started using it was that it was pretty smooth. Still getting used to it. It's a bit weird. It feels a little weird on certain paper, but for the most part it's pretty good. I've done a bit of writing and whatnot with it now, and yeah, no complaints. For $20 as an intro pen, that's pretty good. Oh, and the little Kaweco thingy. It's a bit hard to see that with the glare. Let's see if no. Anyway, it's German. It's an extra fine. I wanted extra fine because, as I've discovered from using the Pilot High-Tech C's, fine lines are for me. My small, messy handwriting benefits greatly from them, and it becomes far more legible. Although the 0.25mm pens that I was using are perhaps a little bit on the small side. They're a bit scratchy. The Kaweco takes a standard short international cartridge, which looks kind of like this. I'm not sure how much ink these things hold exactly. That's not a ball bearing. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Well, it could be a little plastic ball bearing for all I know. It's certainly not a metal one by the looks of it. Yeah, I'm not sure how much ink these hold, milliliter wise. It's not a great deal. Probably 1.5, maybe even less than 1, I'm not sure. But, you know, they're not bad, they're convenient. And this one's black, not blue. So I bought refills that are black, and I've actually got a bunch more on the way that I just ordered yesterday. Bad me. So the final pen is my Pilot Prera. This was about $50, and something I'd pretty much had my eye on since I'd started getting interested in and reading about the fountain pens. It's obviously not cheap. I think this one falls into the category of an inexpensive fountain pen. It's quite nice. It feels nice. It's also it's kind of, well, for my hands it's fine. Posted, it's better. Good size, decent weight. Both the Kaweco and the Prera were much smaller than I kind of thought they would be when they turned up, but I don't have big hands, so that's not a problem. Have a quick look, see. It's just a shiny metal cap. It's a clip, which I never use, but you know, it's not bad on the springiness. It says Prera on the bottom of the cap here. It's mostly a plastic body. This is the grey, I think, or blue-grey. I forget exactly the colour. It's not real heavy, but it's got a little bit of weight to it. Steel nib. It does have a breather hole, an open breather hole. It says Pilot Super Quality Japan, and then a little F in brackets. So this is a fine nib. Now, I had the extra fine on the Kaweco. This is actually a little bit finer than the Kaweco, even though it's only an F versus an EF. That's the difference between an Asian nib and a European nib. The European nibs tend to be a size up. So an F Asian, which this is about the same, possibly a little smaller than an EF European, which is what I have on the Kaweco. It says F on there, some Chinese, Japanese characters. Can't see that. This one also takes a cartridge, a proprietary cartridge, unlike the standards that the Kaweco takes. Interestingly, I've managed to use what seemed like a lot of ink fairly quickly in this one, but it hasn't moved much from where it is right now, so maybe that was just the end of the cartridge just going down quicker than the rest of it. We'll have to see. I mean, I've only had it for 4 or 5 days now, I guess, and it's not like I've done a particularly large amount of writing with it. You can get converters for these, and I expect that I will do at one point, so I'll have a twist converter and I can just use bottled ink instead of the cartridges. But pretty good, it's decent, it's nice and smooth for the most part. It's fine, so it's never going to be super smooth. not like one of the broad nib ones would be, but I think for me it's pretty good. It doesn't feather on my Moleskines and the other notebooks I've used it, so that's awesome. It gives me a nice fine line like I like, and I don't have to worry about the feathering and getting other unsightliness into what is already not very neat writing. Just show you the cartridges for those. So these are custom. They look quite a bit different from the standard internationals. Let me get one of those out for comparison. So these are both black. Just do this. Okay. So it's probably fair to say that the Pilot cartridge is going to have more ink in it, but it's also proprietary, so it can pretty much only be used in the Prera, or possibly some of the Pilot's other pens. I'm not too sure at this point. The standard international cartridge can be used in a bunch of different places, well, a bunch of different pens, I should say, which is good if you've got a bunch of different pens that take the cartridges. It's far more efficient to switch your. You should be able to share your ink cartridges in that fashion. So that's probably it for the moment. I've got a few more inks for the Quaco that I just ordered yesterday. Joyoban, I believe is how you pronounce their name, and that'll be interesting. They'll go in the Quaco, and I guess I'll be able to try out a few different colours over time. See how we go. A few more notebooks coming as well. Leuchtturm, bigger and a smaller, and another small Rhodia. So hopefully those will work out nicely. I have a bigger Rhodia that I bought a little while back, but I still haven't got around to using it just yet. So they're meant to be good for fountain pen ink, but I haven't really tried them yet. So presumably I'll go fine, but I don't have any personal experience in that department just yet. And I guess that's it for now. If you've sat through all of this, congratulations, and I hope you now know a little bit more about my fountain pens.